I just have a very basic question. When we talk about abstaining from a vote, does a council member have a right to abstain for no reason at all?
That's that next item, 5.4.
Okay.
And it's a great segue into that, and that is.
Can I ask a quick question about 5.3 real quick before we move
Yeah,
to the next
of course.
one? The sentence that talks about this person or member leaving the council chambers, is there a reason they have to leave the council chambers?
RCW, it's prescribed by law.
Really?
Yep.
I could stare at you and make you vote my way.
Can't even sit in the audience.
Interesting.
I think, I believe the only exception to that, Jennifer, is on an issue that you are not declaring a conflict of interest or an appearance of fairness, but one that you want to more accurately use your power as an individual resident than sitting on the council.
Hmm.
And you can leave your seat and go down and testify from the front podium.
Next.
What's the point of 5.4? It's to force everybody to vote on every issue?
Up or down, I think to
Should
fully
be.
answer the question, you'd have to go back to the councils that adopted these.
Can you-
Because it's certainly separate from Robert's rules.
Can you abstain?
That's what it says, you can't abstain without a valid,
Disqualification.
yeah.
You shouldn't be able to.
And that's,
What constitutes a valid disqualification, and who rules on that? The chair?
that's 5.3. If you're disqualified under the terms of 5.3.
You can disqualify yourself.
Oh, I see. So if it's not statutorily limited or disqualified, then you shouldn't be allowed not to vote.
Right, you should vote yes or no, or in the case where you still decide you want to abstain or you don't say anything that's recorded, it's recorded as an aye.
Is that Robert's rules?
I've got a problem with not allowing abstentions. There are times when I think it's appropriate to abstain.
And I
Without
don't.
stating the reason for it.
And I
It's a
don't.
legislative prerogative.
And I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I don't think it's appropriate to abstain if you have unless you have an appropriate reason. I think
Well-
that's what we are entitled to do, is vote. It may not be
And there may be.
happy, we may not like what we do, but we have an obligation to do so.
There may be reasons that are appropriate to the individual not to vote on something. And I
From
think
what
the
I've
right of
seen, most
abstention-
of those are political.
Excuse me, I'm trying to say something here. I think the right of abstention is inherent in the position, and I would not like to see it disappear.
There certainly is no right of abstention in either the legislature or the Congress of the United States. Anyone who is in the chamber can be required by the Sergeant at Arms to vote at the direction of the Speaker.
I'm not aware of that rule. And if it
The
is.
closest they come to it is what's called pairing, where
In votes.
if you know you're going to be nay on an issue and I'm going to be aye on an issue, we can pair. And that's not recorded as either a nay or an aye. But if you're in the chambers and you're not paired, you have to vote.
Dave, would you philosophically agree that you're voted into position to vote? That was my understanding, that anytime you're voted in from the citizenry to represent them, they're expecting you to vote yea or nay.
I think we voted in to legislate. An abstention can be a part and parcel of the legislative process.
And without explanation?
I don't see that on an issue of conscience I have to explain myself.
Rod, were you on the council back in '04 when these came forward? Do you remember what that was put in there?
I think it was exactly what we're talking about, that people would just abstain, and that's why this was at the time brought in and put into place that says you need to vote, unless you recuse yourself by something financial to gain.
Or reason.
I think the remedy for that lies in the electoral process. And I'm not aware of anybody on this council presently or in the last 5 years who has abstained more than once or twice within my knowledge. I don't know of anyone who's
Councilman Delavar
continually
hasn't?
abstained. He doesn't continually abstain. He abstains on issues where he doesn't know enough about the issue, or he's not satisfied that it's relevant to.
With all due respect, I've never heard him say, I'm going to abstain because I don't have enough information.
I have.
Dave, so 5.4, really, it doesn't say that you can't abstain. It just says if you don't vote yes or no without a valid disqualification, that your vote is counted as a yes.
It's voted as a yes. You could fail to vote, but it means it's a yes. And I believe that Roberts treats a no vote differently than that. It's a no vote.
An
So-
abstention.
A non-vote.
Yeah.
So the intention here is that it has to be a yea or a nay vote?
No, you can abstain, you just have to explain yourself, is all it's saying. And then the chair will say whether or not that's valid. No?
Well, it says you have to vote yes or no,
Because
or you're counted as a yes.
if you were duly disqualified under 5.3,
You wouldn't be in the
you
chambers.
you will already have been, you will have excused yourself already from the chambers, and the question wouldn't be,
Did you vote or not?
you wouldn't be there for the question.
So voting to abstain or voting present is not anything that's new. It's something that is done in the legislature, it's done in the Congress. Our own president did it many amount of times. It's something that it's, maybe you like in theory the legislation, but yet in principle you can't vote for it. And it gives you that position. And so it is a vote, it's a type of vote.
Can't vote for it or can't vote on it?
Well, you can vote, abstention, or I guess you would say is voting present, is a form of saying, I'm not taking a position on this issue. So in itself, it is a position.
Right.
So, and it's used all up and down, from national all the way down to.
Oh, no doubt. I believe at least one form of it is in Robert's rules to allow it.
Mhm.
The odd part was that the council rules as adopted back in '04 and attempted to be readopted in 2006, specifically pulled that one out and said, we're not going to allow that.
Mhm.
As an example, I abstained when we voted on the farmer's market resolution. And I stated my reason, that although I wasn't in favor of us endorsing the farmer's market from a public perspective, I understood that there was significant support for it on the council, and I didn't want to stand in the way of my colleagues in that regard, so I abstained. I didn't want to vote no on it, but I couldn't vote yes on it either.
Which, go ahead, Jennifer.
I just want to know what is stated in Robert's Rules of Order, newly